Alright guys, the 2021 Oscars have finished. They have happened. You can check out my reaction, which is up on the channel now. So you know what that means. It is time for 2022. Yes, the 2022 Oscar season has begun. And I don't know about you guys, but I am ready to move on and talk about a new fresh batch of films. This past Oscar season has felt a little extended because it was extended. So I'm just really excited to start making some new predictions, start some new discussions about some possible contenders. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm gonna be making these prediction videos every couple of months to update my opinions based off of new things we learn and new movies that come out. Today I'm just gonna be doing Best Picture contenders because I think it's a little early to do some of the other categories. And all of these are kind of based off of the people involved with the film, past directors, big name cast, screenwriters who we know, that kind of thing. It's all gonna be based off of previous knowledge. Obviously there will be films that come up, that come out of nowhere, that we don't know about, contenders that we aren't expecting. This year is kind of crazy because of how many films are coming out, because obviously a lot of them were pushed to this year because you know, COVID. So it's gonna be fun. We got like so many movies, so many contenders, Best Picture categories, now 10 movies, that's awesome. I'm really excited, so let's just start talking. Just wanted to pop in here for a second to say that it's been a little while since I filmed this video, and since then some things have happened. We've learned some new things about some films, some new trailers have come out, like the Eternals trailer wasn't out at this point, the Last Night in Soho trailer wasn't out, and a couple more. The In the Heights reviews hadn't dropped, so I've adjusted my list accordingly. So if what I'm saying is not matching up with the order of my list, that is why. Number one, I have Nightmare Alley. Now this isn't a surprise at number one. If you look at who's involved, you got Guillermo del Toro is back. He just won Best Picture. He won Best Director. This is his follow-up film. You also got a pretty stacked cast. You got Bradley Cooper, Cate Blanchett, Toni Collette, William Dafoe, Richard Jenkins. That's a really solid cast. It's gonna be kind of weird and different like his other films are. A bit of a noir film, I heard. Some footage was shown and some people said it looks really interesting. Behind the scenes photos of cinematography and set design all looked great, so you got a bunch of below the line categories there. Overall, this just, across the board, everybody involved, this looks like a really solid contender. Number two, I have The Tragedy of Macbeth. So this is a Joel Coen film, just Joel Coen, and he has Frances McDormand and Denzel Washington as the leads in this one. So right away, come on, I think it's black and white. I'm not positive, but I think it's black and white. There's another thing that the Academy loves. It's an A24 film, and from what we heard, it's a bit of a like suspenseful thriller type drama film. So we don't know that much about exactly what it's gonna be, but based off its source material and the people involved, looking like a really solid contender. Next, I got Soggy Bottom. This is a Paul Thomas Anderson film. He's been nominated twice for Best Director. His last movie was a contender. This is a film that takes place in the 1970s around a high school student, child actor, who befriends a Hollywood director and producer. So you got 1970s aesthetics in there, Hollywood, you know, what's that all gonna involve? There's some Hollywood aspects to this, which the Academy loves. You got Bradley Cooper as the lead, so it's gonna be an acting showcase for him. It was just placed in December, I believe, so it's right in prime Oscar time. Hollywood, Paul Thomas Anderson, Bradley Cooper, come on. Next I have The House of Gucci. So I think this is the bigger contender of Ridley Scott's two films that are coming out this year. I'll mention his other one later. Yeah, so this one is kind of like about a murder, so I don't know if it's really like a murder mystery or if it's just like a drama about an assassination. It stars Lady Gaga and Adam Driver, Jared Leto, Al Pacino, and we saw some little set photos, some little behind the scenes photos, and they look like a lot of fun. Look like they captured the internet's attention, that's for sure. This seems like a pretty interesting idea. Obviously Lady Gaga wants that Oscar gold. Actually got a little taste of it for A Star Is Born, so she's gonna be going all out. I think it's gonna be a big actor showcase, suspenseful, dramatic murder mystery. Seems like really like, I think this is gonna capture people's attention. Yeah. I got Dune next. Denis Villeneuve he's one of the most exciting and upcoming directors right now, and he is putting together Dune. So this is obviously a bit more of a genre film, kind of more of a blockbuster. It's a big, grand epic, because it is a blockbuster, that automatically drops it down the list a little bit. But like, it's Denis Villeneuve, right? It doesn't really matter. The cast here is crazy. You got like an insanely great cast here. There's a lot of chances for technical nominations. It's like almost a lock in a lot of technical nominations already, with, you know, Greg Fraser cinematography, Hans Zimmer score, you know, probably sound and production design, editing. Those are probably all really solid bets. And if it's really well done, which we can bet it's going to be with Denis, I can easily see it getting into that 10 slot best picture. Yeah, also it's a part 1. So that's a bit like iffy. It's part 1 of this story. Like, all signs lead it to not being a contender. It's a blockbuster, it's a part 1. It's based off of a book that's known for being hard to adapt. But I have so much faith in Denis Villeneuve that I think it's gonna get in there. We'll see. He said it's his best film, but what does that really mean? So, In the Heights, I had a lot lower, but they released the social media embargo for this film already, and it doesn't come out for another month. Clearly, they have a lot of faith in this movie, and they know they have something good on their hands. And the first reactions have reflected that. Everybody's loving it. People say it's one of the most energetic and lively and fun, entertaining, heartwarming musicals of the decade. Boom. It's gonna be a huge crowd pleaser. Everybody's gonna love this film. Everybody's gonna rush out to see this film. This is gonna be one that people watch again and again. It's gonna be a big summer film. Will it ride that hype all the way to Oscar season? That's a good question. As of right now, I'm kind of iffy on it. I think it will for sure get in a lot of below the line, like, you know, it'll get song, it'll get production design, costumes probably, a lot of those, but you know, you don't really have many opportunities for performances here, probably. You don't really have many opportunities, probably not screenplay. Like, what's it really gonna get that's gonna bring it all the way to picture? I don't know, but as of right now, it's one of the only ones that we actually have a consensus on. So that's why it's so high. And you never know. If people could just love it so much that it makes it a West Side Story. Don't doubt Steven Spielberg. He gets in a lot. He even got in for some of his less high regarded films like The Post. West Side Story, this is a remake of a film that won 10 Oscars, right? Won 10? Sheesh, yeah, 110, including Best Picture. So instantly it has a chance, especially when you got Steven Spielberg. It is a remake, and that's one thing which kind of makes me doubt it a little bit. But if it's really well done, which we know it's gonna be, if it's kind of different, unique, brings a little bit of a different take to it, which it probably will, and it's based on a film that everybody loves, I think it's pretty solidly in there. We saw the teaser already, and that looked great. Some great cinematography and technical elements, so it has a lot of chances below the line, and I think it could rise up. I think it could. Don't Look Up. Okay, so this is Adam McKay's next film. He's been big at the Oscars for his past couple films. The Big Short, Vice. He's gotten lots of nominations. He won adapted screenplay for Big Short. Cast here is crazy. Come on, this is the best cast of the year. You got Leo. You got Jennifer Lawrence, Cate Blanchett, Rob Morgan, Meryl Streep, Jonah Hill, Timothée Chalamet, Ariana Grande, Himesh Patel, Tyler Perry, Chris Evans, Matthew Perry, Mark Rylance. That's insane. It's an insanely huge cast, which worries me a little bit, especially when you have people like Ariana Grande in there. Is it less, I don't know. It doesn't really seem, it seems like it's more in line with some of his past comedy films. Also, the script was leaked, kind of, and some people were able to read it, and they said that it's much more comedic than some of his previous films, and even Adam McKay said it's kind of in the middle of The Other Guys and The Big Short in regards to comedy, which worries me. Like, I don't know, would that really get in? But like, it must have a great script. There must be something drawing all these actors in. Like, there's gonna be some sort of message about our planet that'll probably resonate. So, I don't know. I still think it's a contender. I had it higher up, but I've lowered it after I've started to feel like it's gonna be a bit more of a comedic film, a bit more in line with some of his previous ones. But I still think with Leo there, still think it's gonna be a contender, but we'll see, we'll see. Next I have Eternal. So, I think people are kind of doubting this film. Most people don't have this in their 10. I do for a couple reasons. I don't think this is gonna be like other MCU films. Chloe Zhao has had full creative control. She said that multiple times. This is her film, 100%. There's not the MCU studio interference. She gave an amazing pitch and they let her go. And clearly we've seen what she can do with Nomadland. She just won Best Picture and Director. So instantly it has a chance because of that. And then you see the little clips from the teaser from the other day, and you see the little bits of Chloe Zhao in there. It's her style, it's her aesthetic. You got some beautiful cinematography, and I think it's gonna be different. I think it's gonna be unique. I think it's gonna be unlike any other MCU film we've seen. I'm just putting my faith in Chloe Zhao, and I think it really has a chance. Also, it's had a lot of behind the scenes hype, and I don't really know, like, take that with a grain of salt. You really don't know how much you can really trust that when it's the people from the studio saying how great the movie is. But some people involved with the film have said this is the best film Marvel's ever done. Also, Kevin Feige said, hey, watch out for this one at next year's Oscars when it wins Best Picture. Kind of a joke, but clearly he has faith in it. He's seen it and was blown away. There's been lots of reports that they're kind of in disbelief with what they have. So taking all that into consideration, I think it's gonna be unlike any other MCU film we've seen, and I think it could get in. I really do. It's a lot of technical nominations it could very easily get, and it could creep its way up. If it's really good, it could creep its way up. It'll be, you know, it'll be the blockbuster that gets in. Will it and Dune get in? That'll be interesting to see if both Eternals and Dune can get in. At this point, I'm saying yeah. At this point, I'm saying they'll both get in. We'll see. Okay, next I got Next Goal Wins. Taika Waititi is back after his big contender in Jojo Rabbit. So instantly, he's on the radar now. He's a new possible contender. Michael Fassbender is in the lead as a crazy soccer coach. This is like a soccer sports comedy drama. There's gonna be a lot of heart to it, but it's also gonna be really probably heartwarming and funny and probably a pretty crowd-pleasing film. He's gonna bring something new to it, a new perspective, and I'm just putting my trust in Taika Waititi. I think this could be a contender if it comes out this year. We haven't really heard much about it, if it's still on the schedule. I think it's been finished for a while, so I would expect it to come out, but you never know. Same with all of these though. Who knows if any of these films will come out with COVID. Okay, Last Night in Soho. So this prediction isn't based off of Edgar Wright's previous success at the Oscars, because he hasn't had much success. But it's kind of because of like the genre of film he does. He does a lot of comedy. He hasn't really been recognized except for Below the Line. But if this film is like really good and really unique and really interesting, it could always break in. I feel like he feels like one of those directors who's like right on the edge of getting in, that like one of these films that he comes out with is gonna be one that finally breaks him in. Could it be this one? I don't know. It is a horror, like involves time travel, thriller type movie, which doesn't seem like the Academy's thing. Another genre film, right? So I have this pretty low just because it does again seem like a genre film that the Academy isn't going to really go for, but it could be really solid. It could have an amazing screenplay. It could be a crowd favorite that everybody just kind of loves and rallies behind. So this could be the one to finally break Edgar Wright in. I don't know, maybe. Oh, also a note, another thing that that kind of makes me doubt this one is that it had multiple release dates. It's been moved around a lot, obviously, because COVID, and multiple of them were in like April, March area. At a couple times it was placed in those months. And does that tell you that the studio doesn't see Oscar potential in this? That they weren't pushing it for a end of year release? I don't know, something to think about. Second Ridley Scott movie of the year, The Last Duel. This is written by Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. Throwback to Good Will Hunting right there. It's a historical epic set in 14th century France about two best friends who are forced to fight each other. So that's interesting. You got a solid cast. You got Adam Driver and Matt Damon as the leads. Ben Affleck is supporting. The only thing that is lowered this one down is that it's historical epic. And we've seen a lot of those. A lot of them got in. I don't know if the Academy's really gonna go for that again. If it's really good, it could get in, but it's gonna have to do something a bit unique different. It's gonna have to stand out amongst the rest. This is just one that, after hearing the synopsis, doesn't really jump out to me as being a big contender, but because of the people who are involved, it has a chance. The Card Counter is next. This is a Paul Schrader film. He hasn't really been on the Academy's wavelength, some of his past films, but First Reformed got a screenplay nomination. So he's got his foot in the door. This could be a bit more of a accessible and Oscar-friendly film. It's about a gambler who deals with guilt and revenge and all that kind of stuff. Oscar Isaac is the lead. You got screenplay potential. You got Oscar Isaac in the lead potential. And if it's really good, maybe picture, who knows. The French Dispatch. You might be surprised if this is so low, but let me explain. I just don't really see them giving Wes Anderson another nomination for a very similar film. Like, not that these films are gonna be similar in plot or whatever, but you look at the trailer of this, it's very Grand Budapest. This style, the story structure, the dialogue, like just everything about it, like the production design, like how it's filmed, it's obviously it's Wes Anderson, so they all kind of have that vibe, but it just seems like very similar to Grand Budapest. I think it'll have to really stand out and really like be even maybe better than Grand Budapest for it to get in. It always has some potential in other categories, but for picture, like I think it's gonna have to be really good and really separate itself amongst his other work to get in. So that's my thoughts. If it's really good, it could get in. As of right now, it just seems a bit too similar, a bit too familiar, Wes Anderson. And the Academy, like, they like Wes Anderson, but he never really got in until Grand Budapest, which people are like, okay, this is his masterpiece right here. This is the culmination of everything he's been doing. We'll give him these nominations, but I don't know if everybody is kind of loves his style. Next I have Power of the Dog. I hadn't really heard of this one that much until recently. The director here is Jane Campion, and she was nominated for Best Director, one of the only females at that time to be nominated for Best Director. And she was also won Best Screenplay. Yeah, she won Best Screenplay for her film The Piano. So this is her first film in like 12 years or something like that, something crazy. So she's coming back. It's Benedict Cumberbatch and Kristen Dunst and Jesse Plemons, who's been big. They're all in the lead here. We don't really know much about this. I think it's adapted from a book, I believe. So just because she's involved, she could be a pretty easy Best Director nomination. Next is Mass. Mass was the big buzzed about film coming out of Sundance this year. Glowing reviews. Everybody was really loving this film. Apparently it's a story about two couples who have a painful conversation after the aftermath of a school shooting. So right there you have a lot of potential in performances. You got a lot of Best Actor and Best Actress potential. I've heard a lot of buzz behind the performances in this film. Also screenplay potential, it's got potential there. It doesn't have a distributor yet though, so this could be one that kind of just like takes forever to find a distributor and release. A Journal for Jordan, Journal for Jordan. Denzel Washington is back after Fences, which was super big for him with the Academy. He got a bunch of nominations. This just got dated for like late December, prime Oscar time. They're going for it. You know he's going for those Oscars. Michael B. Jordan's in the lead. They're gonna push him. I feel like Michael B. Jordan's one of those actors who could easily get in for actor. Coda, the second film coming out of Sundance, was a really big, like across the board, crowd pleaser. Everybody loved this one. Apple paid like a huge amount of money for it, like record amounts of money for it. It is coming out in August though, and it's like, I don't know if Apple's really gonna push it. Okay, so next we got Annette. We just saw a trailer for this recently. Adam Driver. The reason it's so low is because it's really weird. It's entirely in song. And the trailer looked like it's gonna be a pretty niche, not mainstream, interesting film that will only appeal to a certain group of people. It could be really good. Maybe it will be a really unique and different film and something like unlike we've ever seen before, and because of that it will get in. It feels like a little bit too far from the Academy's wavelength to get in, but you never know. Tick Tick Boom! LinManuel Miranda has a movie coming out this year that he directed, and let's just take a moment to talk about LinManuel Miranda's year this year. He's got a big year. He's got In the Heights, which he obviously wrote the music for and has a small role in. Tick, Tick, Boom, which he directed, his directorial debut. Animated movie called Vivo, which he wrote all the music for and voices the main character. And Encanto, a Disney film coming out in November. The next musical Disney princess film that he also wrote the music for. So he's got a huge year, and I love it. 4 movies with his music in it. Actually, is Tick, Tick, Boom a musical? I don't think so. Maybe? Either way, I love it. I can't wait to see it. This is the year of LinManuel Miranda, and I love it. Yeah, so this is based on the autobiography of the creator of Rent, I believe. And like I was saying, I'm not sure if this is a musical. It might be. Andrew Garfield is the main character here, and he's an aspiring theater composer who has a midlife crisis, and it's written by the people who wrote Dear Evan Hansen. So you got like a Broadway crew here coming together. Lin-Manuel Miranda could be a first-time director contender. This is like, every year there's like somebody, right, who kind of comes out of nowhere. And as of now, I'm kind of thinking it might be Lin. He's kind of like respected in Hollywood, right? Everybody knows of him, everybody loves his work, everybody loves Hamilton. He's gotten lots of Emmys and Tonys and all that stuff. Is it his time for the Oscars? George Miller has a movie as well called 3,000 Years of Longing. We also don't really know much about this film, and we also don't really know if it's gonna come out this year. This is one where I'm like, is it gonna come out? All we really know is that it's Tilda Swinton and Idris Elba in the leads. Again, I don't really know much about it. It doesn't have a date. It could be one that's easily pushed next year since we haven't really heard anything. That's why it's so low. Blonde. This is directed by Andrew Dominic. He did a film called The Assassination of something. He's very interesting, unique, different type of director. So he could bring something kind of unique and different to this film. Ana de Armas is playing Marilyn Monroe. That's a huge Best Actress player there. Marilyn Monroe, like, come on. And there's been some little behind the scenes. Some people have seen a rough cut of this film and said it's like fantastic and like really different and unlike something we've seen before. So this could be like really out there and really different and really unique, and I don't know. King Richard, we got Will Smith is the lead in this film, so he's a contender there. And it's a biographical sports drama. Seems more of like an actor showcase than a picture contender, which is why it's low. Don't Worry Darling. This is another one that's low because I don't know if it's gonna come out this year. If it does come out, it could be higher up. Olivia Wilde is the director here. She seems like another one that is kind of like on the Academy's radar that could break in. Florence Pugh and Harry Styles are the leads here. We're moving through quick now, as you can tell. Okay, so the last contender I'll talk about, there's quite a bit more, but the last one today that I'll talk about is The Eyes of Tammy Faye. So this is directed by the director of The Big Sick, the movie from a couple years ago that everybody loved, got a screenplay nomination. This is now a drama film, and Andrew Garfield and Jessica Chastain are in the leads. So, I don't know, this could be the chance for this director to kind of break through. So from what we've seen, it looks like they bring some really fun performances. Looks like a pretty fun film. So another one that, based off of this previous director, this could be maybe their chance to break through. Like I said, there is a bunch of other contenders that I didn't mention because it's a pretty stacked year. Here are some of them on the screen. Some of them will likely rise up in the ranks as time goes on. There's also some other films that I didn't mention that you might have been wondering where they are that I just really don't think are gonna come out this year. That includes Killers of the Flower Moon, the Martin Scorsese film, Being the Ricardos, Armageddon Time, David O. Russell's upcoming film, which right now is kind of titled Canterbury Glass. Those are some films that probably would have been on my list, but I just don't think they're gonna be coming out this year. Yeah, so anyways, that's it. That is my list for now. That is our first glance at the 2022 Oscar season. What did you guys think? Do you agree with my picks? Are there any that I'm forgetting? Are there any that you think I'm overestimating? What are your opinions? Let me know in the comments down below. And guys, make sure you subscribe and hit that little bell notification icon. You know what all the people on YouTube say. All right guys, so that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Be on the lookout for lots of new videos coming soon. Oscar videos, reviews. I'm gonna talk to you guys about my most anticipated films for this year, even though we're in May already. All right, is that it? That's it. All right, see you in the next one.